This special presentation of The Hunt with Robert Ronald Hunt Sr. is brought to you by Tina's Glamorous Beauty Parlor and Salon. America. This three-syllable word invokes immense feelings of patriotism and freedom. And one small mountain town in eastern Tennessee encapsulates the purest essence of the word. Of course, I'm referring to the glorious alpine village of Gatlinburg, which contains more culture than all of Western Europe combined, all within 10 square miles of scenic mountain terrain.
Yakahano Kailaki Kasachichan Alopai.
For millennia, the brave men and women of the Cherokee Nation inhabited the wilderness today known as Gatlinburg. They discovered the forests and coves that populated the Smokies yielded exceptional hunting results, especially following the west fork of the Pigeon River that flowed from the county seat of Sevierville into the mountainous terrain of Gatlinburg and the Sugarlands. It wasn't until the late 18th century that old Billy Ogle decided to permanently settle in the picturesque valley which we now call Gatlinburg, thus becoming the first European American in the area. With the help of the mighty Cherokee, old Billy erected his historic log cabin that still stands strong today. He later died of malaria, leaving his widow Martha alone. Not realizing what she was leaving behind, she immigrated to liberal Virginia to be with family. Although the Ogles may no longer reside in these sacred hills, their legacy remained, as countless divine monuments and American icons now bear his name to commemorate his historic sacrifice to these great lands. Unfortunately, his predecessors have lost their sense of the American dream, thus sending the great hills into a downward spiral that continued for several decades.
If Gatlinburg falls, it should be written on its tombstone, died of a theory.
As Southern values erupted throughout the South in the late 1860s and early 1861, most Highlanders ignorant about the truth of war and influenced by baseless Northern propaganda remained blindly loyal to the Union. The region had always been at odds with the state of Tennessee for decades over a lack of what they saw as neglect. In a stunning turn of events, however, the great state of Tennessee patriotically decided to secede from the United States of America in a referendum held in June of 1861. Many Highlanders rejected the referendum and remained sympathetic to the communist-affiliated North. At the Greenville session of East Tennessee Convention, the Highland Communist leaders complained about secession and told the Tennessee Congress to allow East Tennessee to become a separate state and remain in the United States of America. The legislation rejected the petition, and the governor ordered Confederate forces into East Tennessee to denazify East Tennessee, as East Tennessee was just made up by Tennessee and therefore must remain loyal to Tennessee and cannot make up any of their own laws and should therefore be a part of Tennessee forever because they are the same people. Following the decision, the Confederates sent in their glorious Colonel William Holland Thomas and his legion to occupy the town and retake the glorious land known as Gatlinburg. Once the Communist States of America found out what the rebels were up to, they sent in their own Red Army south from Knoxville and into Sevierville in the Gatlinburg area to drive out the great colonial's men, who established a small fort on Berg Hill. As Communist forces converged and sieged the town of Gatlinburg, the poor Confederates were forced to retreat across the Smokies to North Carolina. Confederate forces did not return to the Sacred Hills, although sporadic raids continued in East Tennessee until the fall of the Great Confederacy. Well, hey there, Teddy. You look like you could get your hair done.
Are you saying my hair's not to your liking there, buddy?
Well, yeah, but there's no problem in that because I know a lady with a van that can come to you and cut your hair and get you a tan for the summer.
Well, slap my mama and call me a liberal. That sounds great. What is the name of this fine establishment?
It's Tina's Glamorous Beauty Parlor and Tanning Salon, of course. To schedule an appointment, just visit their Facebook page or email tinaglamparlorandtan@outlook.com.
Well, doggone, I'll have to send them an email now. Maybe Mama Tina will feed me a treat for being a good boy.
Well, I'm sure she will because she's a good Christian that always helps out those in need. Come visit Mama Tina so we can leave your bad hair days in the doghouse.